Sweet beard, Tuna.
I'm just going to flip everybody off on this side
Mm.
because it looks like trash and I still don't care.
I drove back. I just got back about an hour ago from Eastern Washington. And I listened to...
Hey, G, you're muted or... Oh, he's talking.
He's talking. I listened to... You guys know who Lex Fridman is?
Yes.
He's a podcaster. He had on YouTube... I haven't finished it, but he had on YouTube the president of Ukraine. So what's his name? It's like Zelenskyy. And so you can listen to it in English, which is an AI dubbed version of English. So it captures, you know how the AI works for people's voices? It captures like their inflection in their voice. So it sounds like they're actually talking. It's legit, dude. Sounding like, so I'm listening to this, like driving back, you know, about 3 hours. I started it. I think I have about an hour left. It's like a 4-hour podcast, bro. That's
good.
It's good, man. It's good. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's a couple takeaways though, I think, that I got from it. One is it sounds like Ukraine wants, you know, it sounds like they want their nukes back.
I mean,
they obviously want to get back into NATO, or get into NATO, I should say. Doesn't feel like sitting at the table with Putin to discuss some sort of ceasefire into the war is something like they're interested in. He's interested in, but doesn't think that you're basically negotiating things with like you know, someone who doesn't care about his country or people for that matter. Just like a murderer basically. So that's just kind of a couple little snippets, takeaways from it. Overall though, like there's a lot of good history in there and a lot of connecting dots between actions of, you know, Russia today and those of World War II, going back to Hitler, you know, and the actions of that, and how there's similarities, like drawing the lines of similarity together between, you know, Hitler and Putin. I'm like, holy crap, man. Without actually going, Hitler is, you know, Putin is Hitler. He's really acting in a similar fashion. Now this is like one side, you know, one side of the story, obviously. But it's really interesting. If you guys got time, or if you're doing something, you're just you got time to listen to something, definitely you should listen to it at least, because it's really interesting, I would say. And I haven't finished it yet. I plan to, but wow.
So we want a full report next week.
Nah, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not doing that.
Can I get a full AAR on that?
But it's good, man. It's good. Strangely interesting to listen to that perspective, you know.
They're using AI for translation. I hope they didn't mention Nick Merckx at once, because we all know what they're going to translate that into.
Spotify will, yeah. No, so they speak in Ukrainian, English, and Russian. And so they had like 3 different translators in the room. You can't see them, but they've said that they're there. And so when you go to like YouTube, if you want to listen to it or watch it or whatever, you can select what language you want to hear it back in. So, but it's AI generated. Unless you're listening to it and it's original audio, then you'll hear all different languages. But because they bounce around a lot in between Ukrainian, Russian, and English, which and they had a whole discussion about which language they were going to choose. Like, they didn't want to choose like Russian language for obvious reasons, but that's the one that Lex Fridman is like mostly fluent in. When it comes to a foreign language, it'd be like Russian. But yeah, I would say if you're interested in that kind of history, or kind of the standing on where they're at with, you know, where they're at with wanting peace talks and things like that, it's definitely a good one to listen to because you get it from the mouth of the president of Ukraine. So it's pretty wild. Yeah, the shit you listen to when you're fucking driving, dude. But it's pretty good so far. Interesting takes, very interesting point of view. Listen to a lot of the different words and phrases said in there, and it kind of leads, like I said, the points I had before, it leads me to think there's certain things that they're kind of leaning into that I mentioned a moment ago with like being different types of armament support, military support and things like that. So yeah, wild, man. Did you know that Ukraine has the largest army in the European Union? Yes. Learn that. It's crazy. I didn't know that before.
I knew that.
Bigger than Russia?
I don't know that.
In the European Union.
European Union.
On the European Union.
Yeah, not all of
Europe.
The continent, just the Union.
Also, the other thing I thought was interesting was, I said European Union. What I thought was European interesting Union. Was there are countries that we're generally not on good terms with that have been allowing Russia's been allowing troops in to fight in that war, and they're gaining things from modern combat because they haven't been involved in modern combat, like North Korea or China. You know what I'm saying?
Porn addiction?
No, modern combat, not porn. They're getting to experience that usage of modernized weapons and networks and communication and logistics where they wouldn't get to do that because they don't actually fight in any wars generally.
So let's talk about modern combat though, like the word modern combat. Because I mean, you've been overseas.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't matter anywhere. It's outside of the continental United States. How far behind the United States are they when it comes to fashion, music, just any of that type of stuff? Like everywhere I've been, they're so far behind. So when you talk about modern, I still don't think that it is 100% close to even where we are here in the United States. So when you talk about the word modern, just the word modern.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about combat, music, style, anything.
Modern to whatever tactics and weaponry that Russia is using. So they're getting immersed in that by being a part of that front, and which is something they haven't experienced, I guess you could say. That's what I mean by like modern combat. Like, when was the last time China was really involved in a conflict? You know what I'm saying? Same with like North Korea.
World War II?
Yeah, when was the last time North Korea was ever involved in any kind of actual war or battle conflict?
In the Korean War?
So, right. Yeah. So that's the point I'm getting at, is that now this is 2024 and they're out on the battlefield.
We're in 2025 now.
2025, yes. They're out on the battlefield utilizing basically combat tactics, weaponry, and logistics, and all the things that are available to whatever country's side they're on. So Russia in this case, let's say. They're being able to use those things and learn about them and take that stuff back to their country. Instead of just living in a bubble and thinking, oh, we're the best, we're the strongest, but they've never experienced any kind of combat out, since the last war they were involved in, either of those places.
So, do you think that is is that something that is going to benefit Russia, or do you think that is something that is still a detriment to Russia?
I think those things, they're aligned, are they not? Aren't those countries like Russia and North Korea and China kind of in some sort of alignment?
Well, so when I meant like modern, right? You're talking. You said modern combat.
Yeah, modern combat is in today's combat.
But I mean, but in modern combat, right? And AG, I don't when you were deployed, I don't know if y'all trained any of Host Nation or anything like that. Did you ever?
What, train Iraqis and stuff every fucking day?
And how god awful were they?
Absolutely terrible.
Right.
Exactly. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they're getting trained in modern combat.
So,
you know, that's what I say when it comes to modern. When I say modern, like, I don't think there's still anybody when it comes to tactics that could even touch us that is anybody outside of NATO.
I agree. What I'm saying is, even if they sucked when you started, but they're getting some kind of training, like literally something will stick. There will be something
like
that sticks.
Only ones that are gaining anything from that would be North Korea.
Maybe.
I mean, China's pretty advanced. They have drone technologies and stuff like that. Russia the same. Oh, I don't know if they have drone technology, but the only person that, like, I'm pretty sure, like, a North Korean has never seen a drone.
I don't know.
Well, and known that they could be used.
I'm sure they have, yeah. But using him in combat, maybe that's the difference.
Well, I've trained, you know, when it comes to like the Iraqi police or whatever, and as much training just in 6 months, I'm still like you. Did
they not leave? Did they not? Did you not leave them better than when you got them?
I would say just a little bit, yes.
Okay.
But I think the language barrier is a huge issue.
Yeah.
When it comes to comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, I can go to. We could all meet at your house, Skep, one day. AG and I can teach y'all different things. He can teach y'all how to fucking shoot and have a fucking half-inch grouping. I can teach you all these tactics based on what he taught y'all and still have those half-inch groupings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But we understand each other and how to apply whatever fundamentals.
Because English.
When it comes to tactics, yes.
Yeah, you're not going to get the best communication even through a terp. Like, it's not
exactly
an interpreter for non-ers.
And that's why I say, like, the term modern combat, I think, is very interpretative.
Yeah.
On who you're talking about.
Well, modern to whoever they're fighting with, I would say.
I can tell you right now, there's one country that I would never want to fight against on the ground, and that's Israel.
Yep, the Israelis.
I don't want to fight the Israelis ever.
I don't think I've ever worked with anyone from there.
The only but here's it, for me with the Israelis. If they run out of ammo, that's when I worry.
I don't know. I mean, don't we supply everything they have?
Exactly.
But it has not to quite supply everything, but yeah, I mean,
basically
a lot of it.
But if it comes down to where, like,
skills,
yeah,
it's top notch.
We actually
nuts.
We actually train with the Israelis on hand to hand, and they actually teach us.
Yeah, they'll whoop your ass.
Oh yeah, they'll fuck you up.
What is it? It's like
Krav Maga. It's like
Krav Maga.
Yes,
Krav Maga. Yeah. That shit is fucking, like, if they can bite your nuts off, that's what they'll do.
Yeah,
like they'll do anything to get the advantage at any point.
Yeah.
Worked with some. We didn't work with like a ton of them, but we've had some stationed around by us in Iraq and worked with them, and those motherfuckers are nuts.
Well, nuts. I mean, our modern day combatives because when it comes to hand to hand, no other country can compare to the Israelis. I don't care who you are. That's just how it is. And a lot of even the modern day mixed martial arts, it comes from a derivative of some sort of Krav Maga. because even submission holds, right? So like grappling, judo, and all those things, like it all comes when it comes to like pressure points and all that stuff. That was a Krav Maga style of fighting.
Yeah.
Now, 100%, our equipment, our stuff is better. I just don't want to fight them on the ground face to face.
Facts. Yeah, no, 100%. I would never do it.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the world, I don't care. We can go. Matter of fact, you know what? Some of the biggest pussies I've ever worked around were like the British and Australia military.
Australians.
Fucking pansies.
Aussies all day. Those motherfuckers go nowhere fast.
Mm-hmm.
Pansies. The only saving grace for I had an Australian, like I guess equivalent to a sergeant major. He'd be like E9.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was cool as fuck. Like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met in my life. And all he did was talk shit about the French people the whole time.
Yeah.
But they still go nowhere fast. I actually traded an Aussie dude uniform, so I have desert camo uniform from the Aussies.
I'll never ever work, like I would never work with the British or Australians ever again, like ever. Just would not do it.
I didn't experience the regular, like the only people I experienced working with in Australia was the commandos. So I can't.
Yeah, that'd be a different story. Like SAS, commandos.
Yeah, my level of comparison there would be different. I mean, there was some guys there that were regular, you know, Royal Australian forces, right? But I didn't really see them do much anything, I guess you could say. They just talk shit
Shorty. I love you.
They talk shit on New Zealanders. That's about it.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about you or your country.
We're not talking about
your
the
country's
people.
army or your military.
Just the certain military folk that I worked with and was around, they were entitled pansies is what you can explain it to. They were entitled pansies.
It's a cultural thing.
In Australia, I've never met more people over the age of 40 that were basically an equivalent to like an E4. I'll say that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was like meeting somebody in the National Guard.
Yeah, they basically they basically don't, if they don't want to promote, they don't have to. Like you're not like, I don't want the promotion, they don't want the responsibility. They can just like continue on service forever as like an E nothing.
Well, so it's
crazy.
I think it was 12 years ago or whatever. I actually got a letter in the mail and it was talking about joining the Australian Air Force and the Australian Army. And I actually called them because I got dual citizenship. Hold on. JC wants to say hi.
Hi.
You got to come down here.
Hello.
There you go.
Hi.
But I literally got a recruitment letter from those guys. And, you know, and so I called, I talked to him because it was dual citizenship. Like the pay wasn't bad. Benefits, I mean, overseas I ain't got to pay for them. So there's that.
Yeah.
Now whether they were better, I don't know. But, and whenever I called the recruiter and everything, they're like, yeah, send me all your stuff. So I sent them a resume and everything like that. And they're like, oh, yeah, you can be in the Australian Army Special Forces. And I was like, what?
Let's be fair. Would you join a military of a country that lost the war to emus?
What?
Australia lost the war to emus.
You're talking about the giant dangerous birds?
Yes.
Yes.
How do you lose a war against birds?
They lost the war to emus.
They call it a war. All it is so what it is, the military went around, they pretty much tasked the Australian military to go around and kill emus. And they couldn't do it. They got their ass kicked.
What? I don't understand. I'm having problems trying to like picture this in my head.
Somebody look that shit up.
Okay, first of all, like they call it a war.
Have fun.
Yes.
Like they declared war on emus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most
the
ridiculous
great
Exactly.
thing I've
war.
heard.
Exactly.
The great-
Exactly.
Hold on. Oh yeah, we gotta pull it. Can you pull it up?
What can you expect though from a whole like giant island? Because that's what it is, a fucking giant island.
It's a continent.
It is a continent, but it's
We're
a
an
giant island.
too.
Yes. Well, sort of.
We're on the North American continent, which is separated from everything else.
But
So
we're
an
connected
island.
to everything,
I mean, kind of.
all the way from the. Pretty much connected from all the way from, north to south circle, damn near. I mean,
there is a
South
separation of
America
water.
goes almost all the way to Antarctica.
I think an island is like smaller.
But I get what you're saying. But it's that's why I said giant island.
of EU rejects.
That all the people were sent there from fucking England and Europe because they were, pretty much put in prison,
So
all their
hold on.
trash can.
Let me get this straight.
But they lost the fucking war to emus.
At some point, I'm guessing it was Great Britain, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Decided that we don't like these fucking people. Send them all to an island.
Yes, to Australia. I mean, most of them were obviously, like felons, troublemakers, and people like that. But yes, that's exactly how Australia was formed. It was a English colony, pretty much. But what it is all the people there were all the shitbags from Great Britain and Europe that didn't want no more.
It was
a prison colony.
It was a prison colony. Yeah,
they are the Queen's rejects.
Yeah.
Shorty's like, we defo did, shipped them off.
Yeah.
So
But
I
did you
hear
find
that
it?
rhetoric a lot, though. You'd be like, oh, just ship all these guys with this island and let them eat each other or some crap. We hear that. That's how you solve the world people's problems. And like, well, the British did it, and now it's like a whole
The British
country.
did it.
So now,
Now it's its own country.
yeah, but still falls under. They still consider themselves under the royal flag, I guess. Right? Same
Yeah,
like
but they have their
Canada.
own flag.
Yeah, they have their own flag.
Yeah, but
But I think it's still like
they don't have a
it'd be
monarch.
it'd be like South Africa.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you got the 13 colonies. That's how United States was established, and then
Sure.
they go off, and now you've got freaking 50 stars.
We defected, I think, from Europe. We
Yes.
defected away and said, "Fuck these guys, we're out of here," and then we're gonna go build our own club, and that's what happened.
The people
Australia
in
was, like,
Australia
sent.
were forcibly moved. Yeah, they
Yeah,
were sent there.
I was
So
talking
it
about
says
flags. That's why
the Royal Australian Artillery was tasked with using machine guns to kill around 20,000 emus.
Mhm.
By the end of it, after an end of 2 months, less than 1,000 were killed.
How
But
did
they spended like 20,000 rounds of ammunition or some shit like that. It was like
Yeah,
some
it
crazy
was like
amount of
10,
ammunition.
10 bullets per bird they killed or some shit like that.
Yeah.
but they didn't continue. Like I'm.
I think they gave up.
They gave up.
They're just like, we can't do this. This is stupid. Why are we doing this type of
Yeah.
thing?
Well, that and they were spending more on ammunition than it was costing than the birds.
Kill a bird. Yep.
Mm. I mean, 20,000
'Cause the
rounds
problem
is not
is-
a lot, but
So I watched the whole thing about it, and it pretty much they said once you shot one, all the
They
rest
take
scattered,
off.
of course,
And they're fast.
and they're fast as hell,
yeah.
so they can't shoot them.
It says due to the operation was eventually called off due to cost and the perception that it was inhumane.
I have a feeling it was probably more to the inhumane perception. Well,
No, it was cost.
tree huggers.
No,
too.
it was
No, it was
100% cost.
Cost,
I
and
guarantee
then
you, but
and then there's lots of tree huggers that like
Yes, 100%.
invasive. Or so
in
they're invasive.
1932,
Oh yeah. Maybe.
Talking about
No,
birds.
there were tree huggers back then.
Oh, I'm sure there were. I don't think things are a whole lot different with people's mindsets too much.
Yeah, but okay.
I mean, the only
how,
differences now are just all the people who are, you know.
How bad for the
living in
environment
La La
are
Land.
emus? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, are they like an invasive species now? I mean, didn't they originate in Australia?
Pretty much.
Isn't that the only place they really live?
Well,
Aside
because
from zoos?
that would form the mindset. Because if they, like, back in the 30s, if they were fucking with your money, it's like kill them all. That was the mindset back in the day.
Emus fucking with money, like robbing banks.
Crops.
Oh,
No, like crops and all.
Yeah. Killing other animals. Yeah, I suppose. Sure.
It's mostly because they're damaging crops.
Invasive.
Yeah.
You have them in zoos, probably, Shorty. You probably have emus in zoos like we do. Yeah, they're caged. Do you know they can't walk backwards? Do you know that?
Can't fly either, by
Yeah.
the way.
People buy them like llamas.
Could you imagine
Llamas?
like Australians Thanksgiving is like they don't eat turkey, they eat emu. And it's like this huge ass fucking bird.
Dude,
in the
I'd
middle of the
smoke an
table.
emu in
Bro.
a heartbeat.
I got to tell you a quick story just because Shorty brought up llamas really quick. So I think I've mentioned before that I worked when I was younger, like between 14 and 18. I worked at this place called the Terry Bison Ranch in southeast Wyoming. And on the ranch, they had a lot of different animals. Bison, one. Beef, cattle, obviously. A lot of other animals, including llamas. And you could go right down from the steakhouse, because there was a big steak. The Senator Steakhouse was there. So you could walk down this little hill. And down this little hill was like a pathway along a fence line. And there was llamas down there. And there was this lady... There was this lady who was down there, and it happened to be that side of the building on the porch. There were some outdoor tables we sat at as employees and smoked cigarettes on break and stuff. So I'm like back there smoking a cigarette. I remember it was a Winston too.
When you weren't legal.
Yeah. I used to get the cigarettes from the bartender when I was like 15. He'd just hand me a carton of cigarettes, but they were Winstons, so nobody was buying that shit anyway. Anyway, I digress some. We're looking down, me and one of the line cooks was looking down the hill, and there's this lady down there fucking with the llamas, like down by the fence line, right? And the next thing you know, all you see is all of her hair just go poof, like that.
Oh, jeez.
She turned around and had this like glaze, dude, all over.
She got a facial.
She got glazed by a llama, dude. And she started screaming, "Oh my god!" It was the best fucking thing in the world.
Yeah,
She got a
that's like
facial.
bile and shit.
It's stomach bile, yeah.
Yeah.
They basically like regurgitate like shit from their stomach, and it comes out. And just,
Curd.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It was the funniest shit ever.
That's gross.
Quick story. That was fun though. I remember that so vividly. It's hilarious.
Well, do y'all want to finish off this episode? Because I know it's going to take forever to talk about all the current events happening.
Yeah.
Which one? There's so many things.
I mean, y'all can talk about the Las Vegas stuff, but we also got to worry about the New Orleans stuff too.
Oh yeah. I mean, that one's pretty, bro. Well, there was also the New York City nightclub that happened.
I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, there's another nightclub. I can't remember exactly where in like one of the boroughs.
That was like the second that happened.
Yeah, it was either the next day or just later in the day. There was a mass shooting in like a club or something like that.
I have not heard.
I haven't heard the official story on that one though.
Was
but
it
I did
in-
hear that happen.
It was in.
Well, me being in Louisiana, the only thing I hear about right now, and also I'm off work. I've been trying to, spend time with the family because I go back to work Monday for, after 2 months. So I've heard about that one, and then I heard about the Las Vegas with the, Elon Cybertruck, but I have not heard about
Okay,
shit.
so it was in Queens, and it was 3 days ago. It looks like. So, what is that? The second? At least that's when it was reported. Everyone's reporting.
That would have
3
been
days
Thursday.
ago. Mass shooting outside NYC nightclub leaves 10 injured. And I guess they're saying initially it was a drive-by, and there was a memorial for a teenager who was killed in New York City that was happening there at the time. So somebody drove by. There was a group of people standing outside in the nightclub. They drove by. It was a private event, and somebody did a drive-by and wounded like 10 people.
This
So like a
to me
shooting
looks
drive-by?
like, yeah, this to me looks like it's a
Gang
mass
violence.
killing. Yeah, gang violence.
It sounds like gang violence. I mean, drive-by shooting. Definitely. I mean, that's gang violence 101. That's what they do, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So there was that.
I've heard people try and relate the Las Vegas to the New Orleans.
Yeah, but I mean, that's so loose, man. That's like you could connect those dots with how many people, you know?
No.
How many people have gone through that base? Like, seriously.
But they also rented their vehicles from the same app.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
But I mean,
too,
that app is nation fucking wide. Like,
Both EVs. You know, one was the one in New Orleans was a Ford Lightning truck, which that's an EV now, right? The other one was a Cybertruck in Las Vegas.
Tesla Cybertruck, yeah.
Yeah. That can handle apparently fireworks in the bed of it, or whatever you call that thing in the back.
supposedly.
Yeah, bro. Side note, drove by probably a handful of those on my way back here, and that is the ugliest damn thing I have ever seen on the road, dude. Ugly as sin.
Like, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now,
horrible looking.
If I see a Cybertruck passing me on the road, or I pass one, I am like, what type of
what kind of granola?
No, I'm gonna word this in a politically correct way.
Yeah, we could say the other thing offline.
What type of all gender gangbang are you going to? Like, when I see one of those, because I'm just sitting there and I'm like, bruh, come on now, dude. Like, that ain't even a fucking truck.
You just imagine it's like parked out on the curb and he shows up on the doorstep and he's like, I'm here for the gangbang.
Facts. 100%
in the back.
Like, dude, that shit is so dumb. My buddy owns one of those fucking Cybertrucks.
Oh.
And every time he posts a fucking picture of that bitch, I text his ass and I'm going to be like, hey, bro, I got a 12-inch dildo for you. I'm just pull up to my driveway with that motherfucker and see what happens.
When I see it, I just wonder what their wife's boyfriend is doing at that moment.
I mean, yeah, like,
Look,
it's...
The thing is hideous, okay? It is literally the most hideous, it looks the most non-aerodynamic vehicle out on the road. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's hideous. It is hideous.
Would you rather drive that or a PT Cruiser?
PT Cruiser all day long.
Honestly, a PT Cruiser with a sweet-ass mullet, I mean, that would be dope.
With these fucking goddamn Fu Manchu with the chops.
That's a statement, bro.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. PT
Cletus here.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I don't know. PT Cruiser with like a 3-foot tall shifter in it, dude.
Some flames on the side.
Yeah.
There you go. PT Cruiser.
Like Bam Margera's mom's mobile.
Yeah.
That shit's sick.
Look at Bam Margera's mom.
Fucking 3-foot tall spoiler on the back. Yeah.
I would just jank it out like so bad, you know, but oh my gosh, bro.
So,
like,
dude,
I don't know if it's true.
Technology's cool, but the truck, hideous, dude. Hideous.
Cybertruck is the new Subaru. I said what I said.
I know what you mean. There's a lot of Subarus
I
up
wouldn't
here.
talk.
Exactly
Yeah, I was about to say, there's
yeah.
a lot of Subarus in Washington.
Oh yeah, dude. Every other
I
car
wonder
is
why.
Subaru
The number
Outback.
yeah, it's like the number
bro.
one vehicle in fucking Washington.
So liberal up there.
Yeah, Subaru Outbacks like everywhere, dude.
Oh my god, it'll make it through so much snow, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All that.
It won't.
I don't know the how true this is, but Tuna, you might be able to because you probably hear more being from Louisiana. But was the IED that they found in the possession of the Las Vegas dude, not Las Vegas, New Orleans, some rare explosive?
I don't know. The only thing that I can tell you when it comes to IEDs, and AG will 1000% back me up on this, is I can fly to each one of our houses, get shit out of your house, and I can make a fucking pipe bomb. And guess what? It is considered an IED. So the term IED I take with a grain of fucking salt.
Because they're saying that it's a complicated explosive that he had to have help make.
I don't believe that. I mean, I kind of really don't, because you can make something that somebody's never seen before is rare, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, at the time, the fertilizer bomb that the Oklahoma City bomber used was rare.
Yes, it was rare, but guess what? Oklahoma City was 100% shit that I could buy off the shelf. So the term rare is relative. It has no meaning. It really doesn't.
I think people get confused with like this. You know, we've made this new coin term IED basically just to label any kind of bomb that's homemade.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you own the Anarchist Cookbook from a long time ago, it taught you how to make shit like that.
There was recently a kid that got charged. Mm-hmm. There was a kid that got charged for making IEDs with dry ice bombs.
Yeah,
it's just blowing up Coke bottles in the woods.
It's exactly what it means. It's improvised explosive device.
It's
all it has to do is go pop, and you made it at home to be called an IED.
That's that. So it probably, what was it, 4th of July or whatever? We're talking about. People were talking about these fucking banned bottle rockets or whatever that was setting off car alarms and all that shit. Technically, that is an IED. Like, technically, it really is.
If they modified a firework of some sort to become like a bomb, sure.
Yes.
Pete. If you duct tape a bunch of sparklers together, that's an IED.
You've improvised an explosive device, yes.
I may or may not have turned some Piccolo Pete's into things.
So
use them as they were intended, you meant? I heard that.
When were you in Iraq, AG?
Twice, 06, 07, and then 2009, 2010.
Okay. So, and how long were you deployed between those times?
My first deployment was 15 months, and then my second was a year.
Okay. So, how many times did y'all get a report of, oh, hey, this is how they are making explosives now? How often did you get a report?
All the time, but most of the time it's all the same.
But it was almost weekly that they saw something new.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's like, oh, okay.
Pressure plate here,
exactly.
Wire here. We're turning hose into pressure wires.
Or using this different, igniter system. Like, every week, it's something different, and that is still improvised.
Yeah.
So, anybody that's been in the military that has dealt with fucking any sort of explosive device knows that whenever it comes to the acronym of IED or whatever, when you talk about rare, every week that you were deployed, something was rare because it's something new. It's like, oh, this is what they most likely use, and then boom, you see something new.
So
now it's rare.
So this is what I think is exactly that. Perhaps there was a type of construction done on this device that they hadn't seen yet. So that's why they label it that.
And
That's
by the
basically
way,
what you're saying
he
is all.
served how long in the army?
Yeah, but he was like a paper pusher guy, man. He was an HR dude.
Okay, but in the army, at the end of the day, because he got out in what was it, 08? I think is what they said.
Yeah, I don't remember. Went reserves or something like that, and then
yeah, something like that. Like he was earlier in the war. You know,
if
so
he even went, have we even seen his service record come out? Is he deployed over there? You know what I mean?
He was there earlier, and the army are all combat at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, if you get deployed, you're carrying a gun, pretty much.
Yeah. Is it
that's just
infantry first, right? Everyone's an infantryman or something like that.
Not in the army.
Not
you're not. That's the Marine Corps. I don't know.
It's not
Marines.
Everybody. It kind of goes back to the Air Force term of every airman is a sensor. Difference between Army and Air Force is Army carries, no matter what your job is, if you're deployed,
you're carrying a rifle.
Gun. Yeah, you're carrying a gun, no matter what.
Yeah,
always.
Air Force, we don't do that. Only the supposed combat troops will carry a gun, which is pretty much security forces and spec ops. That's it. Now Army, and earlier in the war, there were more non-combat AFSC or MOSs that were seen outside of the wire. And I'm not saying this dude was one or anything like that, but there were some. But here's the deal. When you're deployed, you get the intel updates, you see stuff, and then it really doesn't take a lot to improvise on something that you've already seen.
I suppose. But I would say you get that still on a need to know. Like there's tons of people running around that don't have all that information. You know what I mean? There's tons of people that may be there in country that don't get all that because they don't have a need to know. So let's say, for example, the guy's nowadays, in HR sits in an office. That's what he does. He does all your paperwork for your service record and all that crap, right? Zero reason for him to leave the fob. Zero reason. So why would he ever do it? Unless he was transiting to another place, then I could see that, but pretty rare.
The New Orleans guy was an IT guy,
like
so
that.
he probably never left either.
No, an IT guy would have
that's what we're talking
access
about.
to other systems.
Who was the HR guy? That was the New Orleans guy. He was HR or IT guy.
He was IT.
I thought they said HR, man. I'm pretty sure they did.
He was an IT guy.
Like S6 shop.
There's one other question I have about the Las Vegas one is they said that he ended himself first, and then the explosives went off, like they were detonated. Did he have a dead man switch? Was it on a timer? How did that go off? If he was ended,
I'm not educated on that one.
I have no idea.
That's one question. That's the only question I have about that one. Like how. He supposedly ended himself first. Or something. What happened? I'm sure there's a logical explanation to it, but I just would like to know.
He was in Afghanistan in 2009. That guy.
So with an IT guy with what was going on over there or whatever, he does have access to stuff.
Yeah, IT.
Now, whether this started back then, no one will ever know.
Well, in his manifesto, he said he joined ISIS in this last summer.
Either way, like, AG, you were deployed. You have stuff that you still remember from back then, don't you?
Okay. He was an administrative clerk. That was his job.
Oh, that's like S1.
He was deployed to Afghanistan in 2009 and was an administrative clerk. He was a staff sergeant in 2020 and was honorably discharged. And I believe he was in the reserves after some time. But his job was admin clerk, is what it says.
Yeah, admin, HR. That's S1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. I would like to know what is actual. Yeah, but what is the MOS of that?
Look and see if I can find
Well
it.
done.
So it will here, Air Force wise, right? I could have personnelist, which, oh, by the way, a personnelist is written in on everything that the commander knows.
Yes, to an extent.
To an extent, yes, but like briefings happen, they could still sit in. And like I said, I'm not saying this all happened during his military career, but he still has some sort of information from his career
Normally,
to be able to make something.
I've never seen an admin person on an intel brief like that. Only an intelligence person. That would be like an admin type. I've never seen somebody who pushes like basic paperwork around an office sitting on a brief like that ever. Unless they had a need to know for whatever reason and it included the whole entire unit, they would never be in any kind of brief like that.
Like I said, it depends on, everybody's just different. And I'm not literally sitting here saying that like this person was 100% had access to everything. It's just there are ways. Now, did it manifest inside the military? No, but because of the military service that they had, could they form an opinion? Because, oh, by the way, our adversaries, this is a whole reason for OPSEC, right?
71 Lima.
Okay, it says human resources and IT specialist in the U.S. Army, 10 years from Beaumont.
So both.
It looks like
So both things.
42, like a 42 Alpha is human resources. Administrative specialist is a 71 Lima.
But what is administrative specialist?
So an IT guy, he'd probably
Anyone
work
in the
on
Army.
blue lines and red lines, I'm sure. But
Well, you saw the picture of him on the red line.
yeah, well, that's I'm not saying it as in like the actual color of the cable. I'm just saying like red phone, green
Yeah,
phone.
no,
type
it's
shit.
just a
Yeah.
It's just slang for like nipper sipper. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where that misinformation came out of the red cable being
Well,
top
typically,
because it's a red line.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. People would confuse the things, I suppose. But
yeah.
there is a possibility that maybe that was or is, I mean, they're not showing anything. So in that photo, they're literally showing the back of a computer.
Yeah, I mean, that's like...
It does look like a jump, but that computer looks like a jump. But
yeah, it's like...
Whoa, you disappeared.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
David
know.
Blaine over here.
David Blaine.
Hold on.
David Blaine.
Wait, hold on. Didn't David Blaine do his mustache like that at one time?
So. I think so.
I can still hear y'all. Oh.
We can't see you.
Monitors are booting back up.
Oh, your monitors?
No.
Oh.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, generally red cables are used for controlled access type information systems, but you basically can get them anywhere. So
I was going to say, technically, Nipper and Sipper are controlled access.
yeah, well,
But
different levels.
Nipper
that
is
doesn't
controlled.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's fucking
Right. That might have been a patch cable you just plugged in or something to troubleshoot a computer, perhaps, or it could be anything. There's a lot of
yeah.
what ifs there.
That's the problem with independent media. Like, it's great because you get some of the truth, but you get a lot of the bullshit too. You get people that are just trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, and then we sit in this sphere right here trying to decipher what it is they think they're thinking. You know?
Yeah.
We're like, well, okay, I could kind of see what they're saying, you know, but, you know, even my opinion isn't 100%. It's just an opinion based on experience. But, like, you know, that it doesn't mean that's the case in that very moment right there. So,
No.
it could be anything, you know? It could be anything. So,
Absolutely.
damn, I'm blind, bright lights.
She was making fun of me.
Talking about-
Blinded mom.
Right about Tuna. He's over there fucking eyeballing.
Blinded
bright-ass
by
light.
the lights.
So there's another really good one too, based on the Vegas one, the Cybertruck. It's probably all over Twitter too. Definitely check it out. It's the Shawn Ryan Show podcast.
Oh yeah,
It's about an
Ryan
hour. So it's
yeah.
his last one that he had posted, at least that I can tell. It's on YouTube, Spotify, obviously. You can check that out. It's about an hour long, and it's with the guy, Sam something, that I think Rebel we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
He
the known bullshitter.
allegedly has an email from the Las Vegas guy that he got before the event ever happened. That has not technically been confirmed by the agencies that it is in fact from that person, but they've really just said it might have been. But there's like a whole lot of other information out there going, well, maybe it wasn't, you know, based on this criteria, and they're kind of poking holes through the email about a lot of things.
It's episode 155.
Yeah.
It's Sam Shoemate, Cybertruck
Right.
bomber.
So if you go,
Email reveals new. I will post that in here if anybody wants to.
yeah, you should check it out. It's really interesting, and it'll
Yeah, there you
definitely throw you for a bit of a loop because of what's said in there, and like it's pretty wild. I don't know what to make of it, really, personally. Like, I don't know if I believe it 100% or not. It's hard to say that just based on the fact that I know what people will literally do for clicks and money, dude. They will do anything.
I mean, he had me hook,
anything.
line, and sinker until he started talking about like the gravitational fucking propulsion systems and shit.
So, yeah, why is there a bit of like conspiracy theory stuff mixed into it? I don't know. That's a little bit strange. Seems a bit off from the actual like manifesto that was posted from this guy that was recovered by the investigative agencies. They recovered this manifesto. Like, basically it's a document that he had, I guess, on his mobile device that talked about a lot of his thoughts.
Notes.
And his notes, which was a little bit different from that email, a little bit different in construction, a little bit different in topic, quite a bit different, actually, I would say, based on if you read them both, read one, read the other one, and go like, this doesn't really feel like it's even written by the same person, just based on reading both of them. But you know, that's subjective, I suppose, at this point, because nobody really knows. But that's another good one to check out if you haven't. The Shawn Ryan Show, the last one with Sam, what's his name again? Shoemaker or something like that. Ryan. Shawn Ryan Show podcast, about an hour.
The link is in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's the link. Really
Shawn
interesting
Ryan
stuff.
Show.
But there's another guy that posted, another account I saw on Twitter posted a bunch of stuff like poking holes through a bunch of shit with this email. And, you know, I'm just going to throw something out really quick that might fuck people's minds up a little bit, but I would not be surprised if some of these large accounts that have a large audience and base and broadcast are plants. Nah, it's a conspiracy theory.
It is
100%.
Colin Rugg, I think that's the dude's name.
But could you? I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's something to think about.
Plants?
A plant,
Like-
yeah, by different agencies. Yeah, hook you up a little bit thinking about that.
On Spotify?
Anywhere, there could be 100%
Like the-
people that
like
run these shows that could be
The
plants.
Joe Rogan show?
I don't know. Who knows, man? I'm not saying.
To
There could be.
mislead.
Basically, to control and lead or direct some sort of, storyline. Let's take people in this direction. Okay, cool. That's all I'm just throwing out there, just to twist your minds up a little bit. Would you think it's far-fetched to think that? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, the story with
Shawn Ryan did work for the CIA at one point, so
yeah. Yeah, but is he taking that to is he using that for fame or what?
Bro, one of the big stories in the United States right now, and you're getting all the clicks and views for it, or you have the opportunity to basically tell the story as you want to tell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it was an objective view, maybe, but
I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying that's a lot of what people are thinking out there. If you read through social media, a lot of people are kind of leading to that without really saying it outright. They're not spitting it out of their mouths going, some of these guys that have these platforms are plants.
well, yeah, they got big out of nowhere. This is the same thing with an industry plant in music. They get big out of nowhere because they were fucking placed there to get
for that
market.
So AG, you mentioned Rogan before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that guy's been doing that podcast for over a decade.
yeah, he's been doing it for a long time, radio for a long time, and been in the limelight, for a long time.
So I would say
I
probably
don't think Rogan would be one, but
I think Rogan is just one of those guys that he is so open-minded or whatever. I love his podcast because there is no... he doesn't try and sway whoever his guest is. He just asks questions, let them answer it, gives his opinion on it, and then it just flows.
Yeah.
Unless it's Eddie Bravo on Flat Earth, and he's just shutting that shit down.
Well, yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is he is not a very persuasive person when it comes to a podcast.
Nah, it's organic, man. And he built it organically based off of obviously his, his record, he had a bit of fame before he started it. Sure. Right. A lot of jobs and things that he's been doing, but he's been doing it so long. It just didn't blow up into 1 million views an episode out of nowhere.
Oh, no. I remember watching him on Ustream back in the day to 200 people.
Him and freaking
Red Band.
Yeah. When it was a ridiculous fucking show, kind of like this one, but
no, they would literally sit on a couch, and then his guests would sit on the floor in front of it. Yeah.
It was small, but it was growing, and it was catching on with people because how he did the content, just having conversation with people and asking questions, and based on what they said, talking to interesting people. Sure, he's gonna have his views and share his views or whatever, but at the same time, it wasn't just somebody who just showed up and just popped off immediately.
No,
weird.
Absolutely not.
You got to look at the history of these podcasts and go, when did they start? I feel the
same way about the guy that you were talking about earlier with the Zelenskyy interview. That guy just showed up out of nowhere.
Lex Fridman. I don't know how long that podcast has been around. I wonder, because
It's very easy to find out.
Which one?
I mean,
Lex
I haven't.
Fridman.
I'm pretty like. I feel like I'm in that kind of sphere pretty easily. Like I'm on
Lex
like
Fridman.
Lex
the forefront of it.
Fridman.
And I'm just starting to hear about that guy maybe mid of last year, July of last year.
Yeah, so he's done. I don't know, the numbering system on these podcasts is strange, but over 400 shows. Says Wikipedia at least says rose to prominence in 2019 after Elon Musk praised his study, which was based on science, technology, sports, and podcasts. So 2018, that's when he started that podcast. So it's been around a little while. It's been around for 6 years. That's a decent amount of time, but definitely not a decade. So started in 2018. It was originally titled the Artificial Intelligence Podcast because that's what he was studying, and then changed to Lex Fridman Podcast, which he's had. Obviously, the guests he's had on have probably been what rocketed it up that high.
But how did he get those guests that soon?
So I don't know. I mean, obviously you got to have a good manager, I suppose, to be able to reach out to set all this crap up. But in 2019, Friedman published a non-peer-reviewed study about Tesla Autopilot, finding the drivers using semi-autonomous vehicles stayed focused, contrasting with established research on how humans interact with automated systems. Following the study, he was flown to Tesla offices for an interview with Musk. So that probably popped him off a bit. That was probably a bit of a jump off point, I would say. He started the podcast in 2018, was doing a study on AI and autonomous vehicles, and then was flown into, based on that, was flown into to talk with Elon Musk for an interview. Like that probably was a jump off point, I would bet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably
I can see that.
skyrocketed him a little bit.
So you get Musk on, right? And then you get all these other really famous people you can have conversations with. But so I would say, you know, some of them seem a bit strange to me. And I'm just throwing it out there because I like to stir shit up, but but there's some that have been pretty short-lived. It seems to me.
Y'all ready to wrap this one?
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Sunday fun day, just chatting.
Do we need to? We need the picture.
Yeah, and been making one.
All right, cool. Sending it.